So this is the fabric I'm using for the pants. I'm working with this fabric, and then for the ruffle by the side, I'm going to be working with this mesh. You can use any fabric of your choice. So now I have folded my fabric into two. I'm going to cut the front first, and then I'm going to use the front to cut the back. So to know the amount of fabric you will need to fold, you work with your hip measurements. My hip is 48, divided by 4 is 12. So I'm going to have 12 inches for my hip divided by 4. Then for your crotch extension, if you don't know how to get that, you can just divide your hip by 16. So my hip divided by 16 is going to give me 3 inches. So I'm going to add the 3 inches to this 12. So I have 1, 2, 3. So I have 15 inches now. So this part is not fitted, but at the same time is not so free. So for the freeness that I want, I'm going to be adding extra 1.5 inches to it. 1 inch for my seam allowance, then ½ inch for ease. So this depends on how free you want yours to be. So my total fabric that I'm going to be folding is going to be 16.5 altogether. You are going to understand better by the time I am marking them out. So I have 16.5 inches on fold here for the front. So once you are done with the measurement for the folding, you need the length of your pant. For my pants, I want it to be 39 inches long. So for the hemming, I always like to add 2 inches for my hemming, so which means I'm going to be measuring out 41 inches. So because I want this design to be on the hem, I'll start measuring from the lower part here. I'll just place 41 inches here, and then I'm going to measure that upwards. Okay, so this is 41 inches here, but I'm still going to have 1 inch band, elastic band attached to this. So I'm just going to remove the 1 inch band and then add ½ inch to join the band. So I'm just going to be measuring my starting point on this line. I hope you understand that. So here is my starting point now. This is going to be my starting point. So once you measure that, we can now start taking our measurements. The first measurement I'm going to be taking is my crotch depth. So for your crotch depth as well, if you don't know how to measure that, you can just divide your hip by 4. So my hip divided by 4 is 12. Okay, so you can use that if you are just working with a regular pants, but this is going to be a little bit high-waisted, so I'm going to be adding 1 inch to that. You can add 1 or 2 depending on how high the pants is going to be. So I'll add 1 inch to that, and I'm going to have 13 inches. So to measure this, I'm just going to take away the 1 inch seam allowance that I added there. I'm going to take it up like that, and then I'm going to measure my 13 inches here like this. Can you see? So if you are not taking it up, if you are measuring from here, you just measure the 12 inch. So the 1 inch band will just make up the excess for you. So this is my crotch depth here. So the next now is to start taking our actual measurement. So like I said, my hip divided by 4 is 12. So I'll mark 12 inches here. Then I'm going to add 1 inch for seam allowance and ½ inch for ease. So I'm going to mark 1.5. So in all, whatever I have here, which is 13.5, that's what I'm going to be marking on my waist as well, because I'm not using zipper for this. I'm using elastic, which means your waist needs to be able to go through your hip. So now I have 13.5 inches here together with my ease and everything, and I've marked that on my waist as well. So I'm going to go ahead and connect like this. So the next thing is to confirm that you have up to 3 inches for your crotch extension, and you can see that I have exactly that. So 3 inches plus the 13.5 is the 16.5 that I explained earlier. So here now for your crotch curve, you are going to come up by 1 inch here. So it's like a division of this angle. That's where you mark your 1 inch. If this is the 1 inch extension. So the next thing now is to take my curve and then connect them all together. If your curve cannot take it all at once, then you can do this in bits. So I have done mine now, and then this is my crotch curve. Okay, so like I said, if we were to be working with a palazzo, we'll just take it straight down, but this is not a palazzo pants. is like a pencil but not too pencil, so you can be shaping it from your knee to your, but to make this easy for me, I'm just going to shape it down to my floor length. So to do this now, I'm going to measure my gator line. So to get your gator line, you just measure everything you have here and you divide that into two. So the 16.5 that we have, I'm going to divide that into two, and that measurement now I'm going to take it to my hem. So this is the hem of my trouser, so I have marked it. So this measurement that I have here sort of just divide my pants into two. So I'm going to bring that forward so that you can see what I am doing better. So you can see now I have sort of divided my pants into two. So here I need to note how wide I want the mouth of my trouser to be. So for me, around 18 inches is okay. This is how I want the mouth of the pant to be. I don't want it too wide because of the frills that I want to add by the side. I want it to be a bit smart. So this is 18 inches. You're going to divide that by 2 and you have 9. So that 9 again, I'm going to centralize it from this center mark that I have here. So I'll mark 4.5 to this side and 4.5 to this side. So I'll place my tape here now. I'll mark 4.5 to this side and then also mark 4.5 to this side. So because I want it to be exactly a thing, I'll add the seam allowance that I need to join them together. I'm going to add it by this side, and that is all I'm going to be doing for this pant. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect from the crotch line here. I'm going to connect it to this line that I have here, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this side. So if you have a long ruler, you can use that, but I don't have a long ruler, so I'm just going to be stepping it down with my ruler like this. So here I'm going to connect this like this all the way to the hem like this, and then I'm going to come to this side and do the same thing from the crotch area, which is here. I'm going to connect like that as well. So I'll take my ruler and then I'm going to connect like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect this as well. So this is what the pant looks like. It may not be so visible now, but by the time I cut it out, I'm sure you'll be able to see what I have done very well. So here, because of our to cut it, you can fold in your 2 inches. Remember I said I have 2 inches allowance here, so that I'll be able to sew it in. I just want to fold in my 2 inches allowance before I go ahead to cut. So I folded in my allowance. Now I'm going to grab my scissors and then I'll cut this out. We have our front. This is what the front of the pants looks like. The back, I have folded my fabric again into two, and then I'm going to place the front on it. So for the back, we're just going to be adding few, the side is going to remain the same. We're just going to be adding few inches to the crotch because of the bum at the back. So I'm going to arrange the front properly the way it's supposed to be, and then I'm going to do my adjustments. So for the back, like I said, for the crotch area, I'm going to be extending it a little bit. So I'll come here to the crotch extension and then extend it here by 1.5 inch. If it's for a small size, 1 inch is okay. So here as well, I'm going to extend this as well by 1.5, and here I'm going to be adding extra 1 inch to it. So where the waist top here, I'm going to also do a bum rise of 1 inch and then connect it back to the side. So those are the few adjustments that I am doing for the back. So here I'm going to take my curve and then I'll connect like I said. If you cannot do it all at once, you can take it in bits. So after connecting like that, I'm going to connect this 1 inch as well, and then I'll link my connection to what I have coming there. So just make sure that whatever you have is a smooth connection. So this is the crotch that I have for the back. So for the side, you can maintain what you have here, or you can just use your pant cuff to just link it to somewhere here to connect back to what you have in front. So that is the adjustment that I am doing for the back. The side is going to be exactly the same, just like I have said. So now I'm going to take my scissors, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. And then I'm going to work on the front. Okay, so I have taken the second piece of the front and I've aligned them together so that I can shape them together. So now I have done this. The first thing I'm going to do now is to excuse me, on the crotch area in front, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. I like to do that so that it can give me some fitting on my waistline. So once I go down by 1 inch there, I'm going to connect it to the side like this. So I'll be using a slant pocket. So for that, on this side, I'm going to come in here by around 3 inches, and then for the pocket opening, I'm going to come down by 7 inches, and then I'll take my curved ruler and then connect like this. So this is my pocket opening for the front. So you can cut it out like this, or you use your pocket to cut it out. For the pocket, like I said, it's a slant pocket. So I've cut out what I'm using. I have the length of the pocket is around 14 and half, and then the width is around 15 inches. So it depends on what you want to use. But I just want to pay attention to this because this fabric has a particular pattern, and part of the pocket is going to show. So I'm just being mindful. So I'll first shape the pocket the way this is. So I'm just going to raise this up. You can see I folded it inside. Make sure your fold point is facing towards the crotch area. The open point is going to be facing this side. So I folded it like this. I'm just going to place my pants on it, and then I will shape the side together, the side and the and this part. So I'm going to shape everything together. It's quite thick, so I'm going to try my best. So you can see on this side now, because it is shaped, it is not straight. So I'll cut off this excess that I see here so that it can balance up. So here as well, I'm going to be shaping the side, the waist area all together. Like I said, it's quite thick, so I'm going to be taking it in bits. Okay, so now I'm going to take the next one. If you have a very sharp scissor, you may be able to do this all at once, but mine is not so sharp. So you can see I have traced it. So now the next thing now is to raise the pants up again. Remember, it is just one side of the pocket that you are going to be cutting like this, so don't make that mistake. You can notch the midpoint like this, and then once you raise your pants up, you are going to open the pocket up so that you just cut one side, not the two sides. So once you open it up, this is what you are going to have. So I'm going to place my pants on it again so that I can shape out their pockets now. So you can see me placing it. Now I'm going to bring this out and then shape my pocket. So now we are going to cut this together. So that is all you need to do. You can see everything is shaped together. Now we'll be able to sew our pocket. So for the frill design, I said I'm using mesh. So I have arranged my mesh. I want it to be around 3 inches long. So I'm going to be adding 1 inch seam allowance. So I'll be cutting out 4 inches. You can even cut more than that because it's a mesh. When you are done sewing, you can trim it out if you are not sure of the length you want to use. So for me, I'm going to be cutting, let me just cut 4.5. So the next thing is to go ahead and fix our pocket. So this is what the pocket is going to look like. So you just take it to your trouser and then you sew it, then you flip. So when you are done sewing, this is what you're going to have. Now we're going to bring one of the nets that we have cut out and then we're going to gather it on the side. As you can see, I've gathered my, you leave allowance for turning your hem. So after gathering it, you take the back and then sew it to the front. So when you sew it, you make sure to weave it and then you turn it out. So this is what it looks like after sewing the gathers to it. Now you're going to do for the other side and then you're going to sew them together on the crotch. So once the crotch is sewn, you create your elastic. This is what it looks like after sewing it. You hem it and then you create your elastic. Remember, I'm using a 1 inch elastic band. So that's my elastic there. I'm just going to take the elastic to the sewing machine and sew it round. So once you sew it round, you go ahead and weave it as well so that it can be neat, and then you hem your pants and your trouser is ready. So this is what it's going to look like. You can reduce the net to whatever length you want. So I'm going to take it to the